Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Thanks for hanging out with us here. A lot busy action there in the first hour. A lot of football, some basketball talk as well. Let's transition to the Diamond. LSU will open its season a week from Friday, so less than 2 weeks now between now and opening day for the Tigers, who will look to defend their 2025 national championship. I told y'all in the first hour, spent an hour earlier today at WAFB with John Eads, Koki Riley, and Musso talking some LSU baseball. You'll be able to find that on YouTube coming up here in the coming days, and they'll have a preseason special over there on WAFB. But I've got a position preview series going right now on LouisianaSports.net. Started yesterday with first base on February the 1st, and now second base here on the 2nd. And I think that second base is the most interesting position on the field. Right now, Cade Arambidi is your catcher. I think Zach York has won the first base job. Stephen Milam is clearly the shortstop. Haven't seen any reason to suggest that Trent Caraway is not going to be the third baseman. Then you've got your returning outfield minus Josh Pearson from Omaha last year with Chris Stanfield in left, Derek Curiel in center, and Jake Brown in right. So second base is the only position I find that's up for grabs right now. And as you look at it, I think it's a three-man race. And it's three guys who are bat-first players. They're hitters who can play second base. It's Tanner Reeves, who was a JUCO star at Blinn and then lost his job at third base last year because he didn't play good enough defense, and Michael Braswell ended up playing that position even though he hit 189 for the season. You've got Seth Dardar, who transfers in from Kansas State. He spent 3 years in the Ivy League, one at Kansas State, now down at LSU for his final year of college eligibility. And then you've got Braden Simpson, who was a stellar offensive player at High Point last year. Just had a monster season at High Point. He hit, I think, 22 home runs. Yeah, 22 home runs, 389 batting average, also 24 doubles. His OPS for the season last year at High Point was 1295, which is way up there. So those three guys are kind of fighting for this job. And if you made me guess who the starter was on opening day, and I knew that it was going to be a right-handed pitcher, I think Tanner Reeves is probably your starter. And keep in mind, I think that there's a reasonable chance that someone who doesn't start among these three is your DH that day. And I also think that we're going to see a rotation of these guys. But you've got really good offensive players. As I mentioned, Simpson had a huge year at High Point last year. If you look at Dardar, he led Kansas State in hitting last year at 326, hit 13 home runs, including one off of Cade Anderson. And then Tanner Reeves, he was a stud at Blinn in junior college. In 2 seasons in junior college, he hit 28 home runs and drove in 142 runs. And he hits left-handed. And last year, he was okay offensively. He just couldn't handle the workload defensively, and that's why they had to go to Braswell. So that is something he's got to continue to work on. I did a segment 2 weeks ago when I went out to a scrimmage, and Tanner Reeves misplayed 2 balls. He did not catch a double play ball that he was supposed to turn at second base, and then did not play a ball that was hit to his left well, and it skipped by him into right field. He's not a great defensive player, but he is a good hitter, and that's important. Now, defense is paramount, and somebody's got to play very well defensively, or you're not going to be in the lineup. There are options here. So that's important, but these guys can really swing the bat, and they've shown that various places in their college careers. Reeves and Dardar are left-handed. I think they will play against right-handed pitching. Simpson hits right-handed. I believe he will play against left-handed pitching. Simpson has also played first base opposite York in these inter-squad games. York is the first baseman for one team, and Simpson has often been the first baseman for the other team. So I think this is going to be a platoon situation. We saw that last year in right field with Jake Brown and Josh Pearson, and I think you very well could see it again this year at second base unless someone just runs away and hides. And I don't know that that's going to happen. The good news for these guys, as I mentioned, is that there are DH bats available to these guys if they're not in the lineup at second base that day. And keep in mind, what also this allows is for pinch hitting opportunities late in games as guys switch. You go to different bullpen arms. Like, remember last year, Dave Van Horn had a huge decision to make in Omaha, and he decided to let Jake Brown hit against right-handed pitching, and instead of going to the lefty and maybe getting Josh Pearson in there, and Brown comes in and does the job. So Jay Johnson's not afraid to platoon some guys. He's not afraid to use some other options. John Pearson did a lot of swinging the bat against left-handed pitching last year. He likes to play those matchups. And so I think that's what you've got in this situation. Daniel Dickinson last year played all 68 games, started every game for LSU, including the last 10 with a broken hand. But he hit 315 with 12 homers. I think LSU will replace that production pretty easily. These three guys, given the opportunity, especially considering matchup play, where you're going to get the left-handed guys to face right-handed pitching most of the time and the right-handed guy to face left-handed pitching most of the time, I think they will hit 315, and I think they will hit 12 homers combined. I think they'll hit more than that, actually. So I think offensively, you will at least stay flat, but perhaps be better than you were last year offensively at second base. You will not be as good defensively. Daniel Dickinson was a really good defensive second baseman. I thought it was poetry that the final batted ball of the season was a two-hopper right to Dickinson, who flipped to Milo and returned the double play. For a team that had the highest fielding percentage in LSU baseball history at .981 last year, to have it finish on a clean, good defensive play. That was a tailor-made two-ball. It was a hard-hit two-hopper right at Dickinson, like moving him towards the bag. You can't draw it up any easier than that, and I use air quotes on that. But to see those guys make a really smooth play around the bag to finish the season just made all the sense in the world, and you're not going to be as good defensively. You still have Milam at short, who's great. Caraway has been better than expected at third. I think Zach York is a very adequate defensive first baseman. But at second base, where Dickinson showed that range and was so consistent, made the tough plays, made the routine plays, like you're not going to be that agile. Like Seth Dardar looks more like a first baseman. Braden Simpson has played some second, has played some third, and I think is a reasonable defender. But he's not LSU because he played good defense. He's at LSU because he hit 389 with 22 homers. And then Reeves lost his job last year because of defense. Like he's not a premium defender. And that's an up-the-middle position in the diamond, but I think it's a spot that LSU will be okay defensively. And if a guy's not okay defensively, he won't play because they have two other options. And the other thing about this is that these guys are really old. You've got fifth-year player in Reeves, you've got a fifth-year player in Dardar, and you've got a fourth-year player in Simpson. So you're not asking a young player to come in and play. You're asking a very, very old player to come in and play. I think LSU plays 5 games in 6 days to start the season. You're going to see LSU use multiple second basemen in probably all of those games. Maybe not, but probably. And you'll see different guys start, and you'll see pinch hit opportunities, and you'll see guys move around. But I think LSU at second base is going to play a platoon all year. I think they're going to replace Daniel Dickinson's offense. I think they'll struggle to replace his defense, but that they'll be okay. That's a position that you can find some guys to play. They got Gavin Dugas out there for an entire season 2 years ago, and at the end of the season, he was playing on half a shoulder. So second base is not a position that screams defense. Look, middle infield is my favorite thing in all of sports. I love middle infield defense. I prioritize it. I think you really have to prioritize left side defense at shortstop and third base. Those are non-negotiables. You have to play good defense there. It's a differentiator. A lot of college teams have their best defender playing shortstop, and there's usually a bat over at third base that you can struggle over there. LSU was the opposite last year, and I think it benefited them, and Caraway's been pretty good this year. But second, you can hide a less than stellar defender, and Dugas is a perfect example of that. You're getting more Gavin Dugas here than you're getting Daniel Dickinson when it comes to defense. But I think they're going to hit, and I think they're going to play all 3 guys all year. And the beauty of what LSU has cultivated over the last few years is that guys aren't complaining about that. Jake Brown and Josh Pearson really got along great last year. You didn't see Tanner Reeves pouting last year when Michael Braswell took his spot. you could go back to Chase Shores, who was a stellar bullpen guy and then was a starter. Then he was taken out of the rotation and lost that role, but he kept fighting and became the closer. You can look at Gavin Guidry 2 years ago, who was a shortstop when he came in and didn't hit. So then they put him at pitcher, and he took that challenge and went out there and did it. You can look at Gavin Dugas, who lost his job and wasn't in the lineup opening day in 2025. And then he becomes, stellar second baseman. You can look at Trey Morgan going to the outfield. Look at Cade Beloso, who wasn't in the lineup. He became a DH. And Jared Jones lost that job because Cade Beloso had to be in the lineup, and he never pouted or transferred. And he just became one of the most prolific home run hitters that LSU's had. Guys have accepted roles in this program, and Jay Johnson deserves so much credit for creating that. And I think that's going to apply here at second base as well. Guys may not play every single day in the starting lineup, but when they're called upon, it'll be in an advantageous situation, a spot where they can succeed, and I think they will at second base. So I'm positive thinking about LSU's second base situation entering the season. It's different than having Daniel Dickinson there for 68 games, but I think it can be quite productive for LSU. So that's a look at second base. We still got plenty of time to go here. 45 minutes left on this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, if you've got faulty plumbing situations in your bathroom, whether it's a shower doesn't quite function like it's supposed to, or maybe it's a tub that you're having some issues with, don't just call the guy down the street and hand him some cash. Go with the guy who's been handling this type of stuff for 30 years. You may not need a repair. You may need a remodel or replacement. David can do that. He can do a replacement with your shower, do a replacement with your tub. Maybe you don't use your tub. Get rid of it and put in a walk-in shower. The tub-to-shower conversion is probably the thing that David does the most over there at One Bath and Closets. Go check out their great work at onebathandclosets.com. You'll see pictures of just how great their stuff looks. It's functional, it's customized, and it is gorgeous work. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind at One Bath and Closets. You can find them online and get that free consultation today at onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Stick with the baseball theme. Feels like we're close to opening day, but like, it's just, I think this is the worst week, because like, you get school comes in and then they start practicing, and like the newness of practice is there. It's just like the first week of August. It's like really exciting to go out there and see the football team, and then you start to see some things emerge. But when you get to 2 weeks out, like next week will be exciting because it is game week, and you'll hear from Jay Johnson, hear from some of the players, and like that'll be an exciting time. This week, it just still feels just a little bit too far to touch, but you're getting closer and closer. February is upon us. If you're looking for that baseball fix, you can go check it out on LouisianaSports.net. I've got a preview of first base and second base up. I do want to talk a little bit right now about some left-handed pitching options, because that's important. Jay Johnson has said in the past that he learned from Augie Garrido, legendary former Texas coach, that you need to build your team around left-handed pitching and left-handed hitting. And Jay Johnson takes that to heart when you think about the infielders that he's brought in. It's all your infielders except first base have to be right-handed throwers, right? But he still finds a ton of infielders that hit left-handed. On this team, you've got Milam, who's a switch hitter. You've got York, who plays first base, left-handed. You've got Reeves, who hits left-handed. You've got Dardar, who hits left-handed. Like, they have rolled through guys who hit left-handed that play on the infield. And that's something that he looks at a lot. And it's something that he's had a lot of success with. It's also something that can get you bit in the draft, because MLB teams want that too. I'm looking. Yeah, Jack Ruckert hits left-handed as well. I thought that was true, but I wanted to make sure. I've only seen him hit 3 times. But he hits left-handed too. I wanted to check that, so I did. But left-handed pitching, very important as well. And LSU brought in a lot of transfers with a lot of different options from the left side. There's only one, I think, right now that has a good chance to be a starting option. That's Cooper Williams. I talked about him at length last week. He has had a great preseason. He's striking guys out. He's throwing a ton of strikes. It's not eye-popping stuff. It's 91, 92. I don't sense that the breaking ball is some sort of dominant plus pitch, but he sure does get a lot of outs, and we know he can throw the ball over the plate. So that's a guy that's got some opportunity to be a starting option, but there are left-handed options out of the bullpen that I think are very intriguing. Santiago Garcia is probably chief among them at this point. He comes from Oregon. He was really good late in the season for the Oregon Ducks. That was a regional team. It was a team that was bidding for a top 8 national seed. They hosted, and I thought Garcia had a really good year for them. He actually threw the ball very, very well in the summer as well. It's a traditional left-handed delivery, kind of high three-quarters. He throws a big breaking ball and a fastball that tops 90 miles an hour. He held Big Ten hitters to a 171 average last year in league play. Now, the Big Ten is not as good as the SEC, but he was a high-leverage reliever for Oregon, also a high school teammate of Stephen Milam's, but he's a guy that I think the staff really likes. And a guy I know that they like, and he was brilliant yesterday, was Ethan Plog. I saw some of the statistics, talked to Musso and Koki and John Eads earlier today, who were out there watching some this weekend, and Plog dominated yesterday through the heart of LSU's lineup, missing bats, getting strikeouts. And it was a cold, blustery day, not the best day to hit, but missing bats is missing bats. Plog is a junior college transfer. He will not let it the radar gun, but it's funky. And a funky lefty just always has a place in a bullpen. It's a short arm, not sidearm delivery, but certainly three-quarters, and it's real short and quick. And he's got a good breaking ball that he will throw a lot to left-handed hitters. And the fastball is enough to sneak by some guys. And they really like Plog for sure. It's just an awkward at-bat for a left-handed hitter. They just don't see it very well. Those are probably your top two options from the bullpen on the left side. And then you've got a little bit of a higher upside in Danny Lockenmeyer. I know that the staff was very, very high on him when they got him in. I don't know that his performances in the fall and preseason have matched up to those expectations, but he does throw pretty hard for a left-hander, somewhere in the low 90s, and he has had good numbers at North Dakota State. He pitched against LSU last year at the box. North Dakota State came in for a midweek, and he did pitch in that game and had some success. His ERA for the season at North Dakota State was 2.37 in 38 innings of work. He had 56 strikeouts against just 18 walks, only allowed 2 home runs on the season, only hit 2 hitters in 38 innings. That's a guy that, if that's your fourth option as a left-hander, if you consider Williams one because he's a starter potential, then Garcia coming over from Oregon, then Plog is kind of your funky lefty. This is your fourth option. That's an encouraging thing. And this is something that I've been workshopping and thinking about and considering, and the more I think about it, the more I believe it. I think it's fair to call LSU's starting rotation a question mark at this point. I think it's fair to call Kason Evans as an SEC ace a question mark. Not that he will be bad. I'm not suggesting that. He's just never done it before. And if you he'll just do what Cade Anderson did. He was a good freshman and came out and pitched well in the midweek, and then all of a sudden just took off as the ace and was the third pick in the draft. Evans is that talented. He'll do that. And maybe he will. I would love that if he does that. That'd be great. But I don't know that. But what I feel like is likely. Let me phrase this differently. I think it's more likely that LSU has like 8 bullpen arms it trusts and uses those guys very liberally in the middle innings of games, even on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, where, yeah, your starter only goes 4 1/3, and then you go to the funky lefty, and then you turn the ball over to Devin Sheeran, and then you turn the ball over to Zach Cowan, and then you turn the ball over to Santiago Garcia for 2 lefties, and then you turn the ball over to Maverick Rizzi to close it. And you've used like 5 bullpen guys to get through the last 4 innings because you feel like those guys are more trustworthy. I think that's a more likely scenario for LSU's pitching staff than having a repeat of Holman Jump and Anderson Hines. Just immediately having those 2 guys who are workhorses at the front end. Because I don't know right now who those 2 guys would be. Evans, Schmidt, Cooper Moore, Cooper Williams, maybe Marcos Paz grows into that. But I don't know. Those are all questions. I think Cooper Moore is a starter. Do I think he's going to be second in the SEC in strikeouts like Anthony Ianson? I don't know about that. It could be. Like, Nate Yeski's awesome. Jamie Tutko's awesome. The development those guys have done with pitchers has been phenomenal. I'm not telling you it can't happen, but I do feel better about the sheer volume of relievers. And maybe that's the way you eat up more innings. Instead of, over the course of the first 2 games of the weekend, Anderson and Ianson accounting for 14 innings, maybe your 2 starters only account for 9.5, 9 2/3. They go 5 innings and 4 2/3 innings, and then the bullpen, because you've got so much depth and so much talent and so much ability to match up because you've got left-handed options and you've got power arms. You've got proven commodities. Callen's a proven commodity. Guidry's a proven commodity. Rizzi has led the team in appearances last year. I haven't even talked about Grant Fontenot. Haven't even talked about, some of these guys that are back into that bullpen. There may be 9 or 10 guys that can get it done. That usually doesn't materialize, but staffs don't usually have this much depth. Most teams, when they get to Omaha, have their 5 guys total they trust. That includes a starter or 2. Like LSU got through the championship series last year. Anderson, complete game shutout. Ianson, 6 or whatever he went. Shores, 3. That's it. 3 pitchers, lights out. And that's a great way to do it, but that may not be what this team is. This team may not lean as heavily on its starters and more heavily on its relievers because you've got so many of them that have so much ability. That's what I think right now. And it starts, my brain started in that direction with the fact that you've got these lefty options, and it continued in that way when I started to think about and honestly watch some of the starters. Like Kaysen hasn't been great in preseason. Cooper Williams has been good. Cooper Moore's been good. William Schmidt struggled with control. Evans has gotten hit a little bit. Like, it hasn't been dominant. But, again, that's January baseball. I'm not losing a lot of sleep of it or putting all the stock in it. I'm just aware of what I'm watching and what I know, which is the back end of this team is really talented in the bullpen. It may be a reliever-dominated team. And, look, I think most of y'all watch and pay attention to LSU baseball. Most of you may not watch Major League Baseball. When you get to the playoffs in Major League Baseball, they're asking their starters for 8 outs. They're asking their starters for 10 outs. And then they just start bringing in the guys that throw 100. And LSU doesn't have a bunch of guys that throw 100, but it's college baseball. They got a bunch of guys that throw hard, that have good stuff, that miss bats. And with this team, I can easily see a situation where you use Ethan Plog and Maverick Rizzi and Zach Cowan and Santiago Garcia on Friday, and then you can come back on Saturday with Sheeran and Lockenmeyer, and there are multiple more options down the line. Grant Fontenot. You saw a lot of Connor Benj last year. He's improved. It's just, you can use a lot of different bullpen options if you don't have 2 horses. I prefer the way with the 2 horses. I prefer that way. I think that's your best path through the postseason. But banking on that to happen every single year is aggressive. It's possible. And LSU found Skeens and Floyd, and they found Holman and Jump, and they found Anderson and Ianson. But sometimes it may not work out that way. And you might have somebody that looks a little bit more like Landon Marceau in the front of your rotation as opposed to Cade Anderson. That was a different staff, but same point. We'll see. It is one of the reasons college baseball is my favorite sport. The ever-evolving nature of the roster is fascinating to me. And usually you don't start one guy on Friday on opening day, start one guy on Saturday, game 2, and those guys go the entire way like last year was. I'd love it if it happens. I'll pull for it to happen, but if it doesn't, what's plan B? I think plan B is pretty good in this instance with all the depth that LSU has, especially with those left-handers. So that's a little look at baseball. It's first 30 minutes of hour number 2 on LSU baseball. We'll transition out of that when we come back on I guess this would be a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, go check him out over there at Marucci. It is baseball season. Fighting Tigers on the field in 2 weeks. Youth baseball and softball are cranking up. If your youth baseball player doesn't have a bat, youth softball player doesn't have a bat, Marucci's got them. They're the official bat of Major League Baseball. They make 1,200 of them a day. Go and buy them. Take some hacks in the cage. Go on by and take a campus tour. See where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. Such a cool story from Marucci. Talking about 22 years ago, started making them in the backyard. Now, the best in the world use them. And it's right here in Baton Rouge. Take your youth softball team to go see them. Take your youth baseball team to go take a tour and see where these bats are made. Take some hacks in the cage as well. Find them online at maruccisports.com. Click on Campus Tour. That's maruccisports.com.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Love telling you about Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online, lifetimeroofingla.com. Just let the folks at Lifetime come check your roof out. They'll tell you what needs to be done, and they'll be honest with you because they care about the people of this community. They're from this community, and they want to do what's best for you. So that doesn't always mean, hey, just throw another roof up there. They'll inspect it. That part's free. If they think, hey, it's just a repair, we can do that. Get that done. Maybe it's a tune-up that you need to reinforce that roof. They can handle that as well. And if you do need a new roof, they can handle that part as well. Financing is available, 0% up to 18 months. That's the same as cash. And if you got a sizable deductible, you want to finance that as well, they can do that. They've got a team there in place to help you work through that process step by step to get that new roof on your home. Your home, for most of us, is the biggest investment you ever make. And the folks under that roof, pretty important. Got to take your roof seriously down here in South Louisiana. Anywhere in the state of Louisiana, Lifetime Roofing can help you out, and they're happy to do so with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Started offering that this year on January 1st. A lifetime workmanship warranty from the folks at Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. So this was always coming, right? We could see it coming from a mile away. The Saints established their marketing rights in Paris. And you're kind of looking at that like, what? Why? Because they're going to go play there. And that is, in fact, going to happen. News broke over the weekend from a French radio station that tweeted it out. And the Saints have confirmed it. I saw that Gail Benson was speaking about it earlier today. After months of negotiations, it's finally official. The post on Twitter read, the first NFL game in France will take place in Paris at the Stade de France on October 25th, 2026. The New Orleans Saints will play the Cleveland Browns. And there was another post that said Shedeur Sanders was seen at the Stade de France doing some sort of promotional shoot there. So it'll be Saints and Browns from across the pond. Like, I've made my thoughts on these games pretty clear. I don't necessarily need it. It does create another television window for the folks that just can't get enough NFL. You can wake up and have a little coffee football for you in the morning. I would prefer that the NFL teams play in front of their season ticket holders, play in front of their fans, as opposed to flying across the world. I think that makes things tough to fly back and either play that week or have to put your off week there. I've heard Jacob Hester talk about the horrors of playing over there and that the fans didn't really know what was going on and all that. And I don't need it, but I'm not going to throw a fit about it at all. What it is going to do is going to create a really cool opportunity for a lot of Saints fans. I got a text from a buddy of mine who is a diehard Saints fan, whose wife likes the Saints but doesn't really care, but really likes Paris. And she said, well, I think I'm going to lose this battle because my wife's finally going to use my Saints fandom against me here to make sure we buy tickets to get on a plane and go over there and see that game in Paris. So the game is going to be about 30 miles north of the Eiffel Tower there in France. It'll be the first game ever played in the NFL in France, and the Saints will be a part of it. I think a lot of folks will make that trip. Coincidentally, I'm going to be over there at that time. My wife and I are going on a 5-year anniversary trip to Europe in the fall during LSU's bye week. That's the only time I can go in the fall. So LSU's going to play Auburn on Saturday before the bye. Then we're going to fly out Sunday and be gone entering the bye week, which is when this game will be played. And then I'll come back for Bama week the following week. But I will not, I don't think, be going up to the game at Paris. You going to go to Paris?
Man, please, man. what money I got to go to Paris? I'm about to say, what
credit card, baby. Put it on the credit card. Pay it off later. Get a little, 20% interest rate on that credit card.
Okay, I'm gonna steal somebody's identity. I'm about to say, I ain't coming out of my pockets.
What do you think about the international games?
I think they suck, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm gonna be real, guys. I'm not waking up at 8 a.m. to watch. Like, certain. I think it's not the international games per se, it's the matchups. Okay, because it's certain times where it's like, why am I getting the Jaguars versus the Vikings or something like that? Do I really want to wake up at 8 in the morning and watch the Toy Story broadcast with Bijan Robinson, wherever the Falcons were playing at? Oh, the Jaguars, of course.
But I mean, if the Saints are going to lose a home game to go play in Paris, like, you don't want them to lose the Falcons game. Like, you might as well lose the Browns game. Like, I don't want them to lose any game. I'm on record. I would like them to play all those games in New Orleans. Everything's a cash grab. Everything in every sport is a freaking cash grab. This is a cash grab, and that's what they're trying to do. But, like, I would prefer the Saints fans get their home game.
Oh, no. Look, I totally agree with you, but also I'm speaking from a place of somebody that can't afford to make the trip. So if I was working with the team or somebody that could, I would be all like, oh, yeah, we're going to Paris. So, again, I'm just speaking as somebody that's hating from the outside the club.
It's also just a weird, like the Saints fans will show up to this.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I'm sure Cleveland will show up too.
Yeah.
Cleveland has nothing to cheer about, but they sure do get behind the Browns. And so in this game, in October, but I mean, we think this is going to be an impactful Saints season. So I think they're going to see a lot of folks. The Saints haven't gone over there since they played the Vikings in 2022.
That game sucked.
That game was in England, the England showdown. But this is going to be over in Paris. So I don't love it, but I think there are some people that think this is a great opportunity, and it's a game you probably need to win. I mean, you figure if I'm looking at the schedule and I've got Browns home.
Yeah.
That's a game I need to win.
Yes.
So now you're taking it out of the dome. You're going to do it overseas. You're going to create some different. I mean, like Hester's played in this game. He said like they don't really know what's going on. Like they do some singing and like Paris doesn't know how bad the Browns are. But this is a game you need to win. You need to fly over there and win because that's a game that if you're a playoff team and the Browns come to you, that should be a W. And now you got to play that game in Paris. So we'll see.
And also, I think, like you said, it can do a lot for certain players. I think this is a really good opportunity for Tyler Shuck. Now, also to just go out there and get his name out there internationally wise, but just something about the last name Shuck and just with a French fan base. I don't know. I feel like they can do something with that. They can make something work with that. Shucko or something. I don't speak French. But
you don't speak French?
Oh, no.
You don't say?
No. Listen. I took 3 years of Spanish in college, and I still couldn't tell you what a dog is. So this is like,
Perro. I
guess.
took a lot of Spanish, but let's just completely drive off into the ditch here.
Let's go.
When I was a sophomore at LSU,
yes,
we had Gustav run through. No, junior at LSU, sorry, junior. Gustav came through. It was a disastrous hurricane.
08.
Yeah,
yes,
08, yes, correct.
Okay.
And so we had to shuffle our schedule around, and I was okay at Spanish, but like I certainly needed to study, and they put some of our classes on Saturday because we missed class for Gustav.
Yes.
And one of the Saturday classes was the day of the LSU-Auburn game.
Oh, well, that's
Jarrett
not
Lee
happening.
threw a touchdown to Brandon LaFell under 5 minutes to go to win the game 08 in Auburn. And, of course, I went to the game, so I didn't go to class.
Come on now.
Well, the syllabus was all jacked up because we missed all those days of school, so, like, the calendar didn't line up. Well, they had told us on that Saturday that we had a test on Tuesday. Well, I was in Auburn watching Jarrett Lee, Andrew Hatch get a concussion, and Jarrett Lee beat Auburn. So I showed up to class on Tuesday.
Cooked.
They started passing out a test. I was like, well, I'm not ready for this test. And I did very poorly on that test, I think. But I did have fun in Auburn.
Hey,
we won the game.
No regrets, though.
Went to Sky Bar, got the dub. I think Keelan Williams threw a touchdown pass in that game.
Yeah, look. That's the best part about college. You can have a story like that and live to tell the tale. Like, hey, man, no regrets. I would do it again. I would do it again.
I don't even know how we got on that.
No, you said we're going to drive off the ditch.
No, it's foreign language. That's how we got there.
Oh, well, see, my issue was...
Because you can't speak French.
Well, my issue was they tricked us in high school. I ended up taking Latin in high school for my foreign language. So when I went to college, that's why I had no Spanish or French because my stupid tail was taking Latin.
Yeah.
That's a dead language.
My 4-year-old's in daycare. They teach him Spanish. He said some Spanish word the other day. He's got all these accents now because he watches Peppa Pig, which is a British cartoon.
Accent, yes.
So he says some word. He called an elevator a lift the other day.
Oh, Lord.
Got to get on the lift. I was like, what? Where am I? So now he's learning Spanish at daycare. He's got English in his British accent from Peppa Pig. He watches Bluey. That's Australian.
Oh, man,
so
I like this
guy.
guy.
He's world traveled at 4 years old.
No, that's lit. No, you see, you should be happy about that because when he gets older, you never know. He might be able to. He might be an actor or something. You never know, man.
We'll see. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. Still cold out there. Not great to go out and play 18 holes of golf, but you can at Swing Easy inside in like an hour and a half at one of the greatest courses in the world. Call it Pebble Beach. They play that famous tournament every April. Give out the jacket for it. You can play that course too on the Swing Simulator. It's really realistic. It's a lot of fun. It's a different way to play golf. But hey, they can deliver you a bucket of beers, bucket of seltzers. You can crank the tunes in there, turn on the TV, invite some clients, invite some friends. Book a tee time at Swing Easy Golf Club. Great place to hang out and play a little indoor simulator golf there on Seagan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club online, swingeasygcbr.com. It is Super Bowl week. Matt Moscone will be out there in San Francisco, I believe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for his show. Should be a lot of great content. We had such a great time as a station last year with the Super Bowl in New Orleans. We'll send Matt out to San Francisco. He's planning on getting some great content. Should be able to talk to Will Campbell, Kayshon Boutte at the Super Bowl Media Days. I know Kay Levon is there as well. So should have some good content there, and then obviously tons of guests. That was quite a sight to see last year when we were there all week long for the Super Bowl. Just a who's who walking around at all times, and had a chance to sit down with Steve Levy. Had a chance to sit down with we had Kurt Schilling on the show. Brian Brzee was on. We had Blake Groupie on the show as well. So a lot of fun last year at the Super Bowl, and Matt will get to do a lot of that coming up this week from San Francisco starting on Wednesday. We also noticed like Monday and Tuesday not quite as hopping, not quite as much going on. It's easy for us to do it when we just drive down to New Orleans, so it was worth doing that. But to do a whole week there in San Francisco, especially early on in the week, probably not quite worth it. So going to capitalize on the heavy traffic time on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Rivers will be out there as well, so should be great content. Looking forward to hearing what they produce for us. We'll be back here, man in the home base, and talking a little bit of baseball as well. If you're looking for a baseball fix, I've got two position previews up at LouisianaSports.net right now. That is first base and second base. I'll do one a day. Also, continue to break down the LSU football team on Portal Profiles. One note from football I wanted to get to this weekend. Big visit for LSU on the cornerback front. Josh Dobson, the number one corner in the country, visited. LSU had contacted him, had gone out to visit him in North Carolina. He booked a visit, came down and visited over the weekend. That apparently went very, very well. There have been some predictions already by the experts put in for LSU to land the 5-star corner. ESPN's got him as a 5-star. Rivals has him as a 5-star as well. Rivals has him as the number one corner in the country. He's 6'1". He's 170 pounds. And if he commits here in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably spend a little bit more time talking about him. But one of the things that stood out to me was in the written story that I read about his visit, talked about how Corey Raymond likes to develop. He likes to bring in freshmen and develop them over the course of 3 or 4 years. Doesn't want to have to go into the transfer portal each and every year. Now, you get Mansour Delane out of the transfer portal, you go get him if you need to do that. But he likes to bring in the high school kids, and that's a message that still rings true nationally. And he's done that his entire time at LSU. Gotten guys from California, gotten guys from Florida, Dobson's from North Carolina, gotten guys from Louisiana. If it's a high-profile corner, no matter what corner of the country they call home, Corey Raymond generally gets in the mix, and he certainly is with Josh Dobson. It feels like LSU's got a great chance to land the number one corner in the country in this class. You got that with DJ Pickett last year. Seems to be working out pretty well. Didn't go heavy on corners in this past class, but certainly Haven Finney, a guy that they're very, very high on, and maybe in the next class, number one corner in the country, could be headed to LSU. Josh Dobson from Cornelius, North Carolina, was in over the weekend. Apparently, all things pointing LSU's direction there. That's a very, very good sign. All right, we'll take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so legendary Offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn has retired from college football today after 35 years in coaching, including stints as the Arkansas State, Auburn, and UCF head coach. In 13 seasons, Malzahn went to have a 105-62 record. Only 2 losing seasons, couple national championship appearances. So did college football lose a great offensive mind? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Gus had an awesome career. He did a really good job at Auburn. I think he was constantly on the hot seat because you were dealing with Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, and every once in a while he'd knock both of them off in a month. And that month where they had the prayer at Jordan Hare and the kick six is a 3-week stretch that we'll never see again.
Special.
I mean, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever sat through. But he did a good job at Auburn. He kept up with Saban the best you possibly could have there. Yep. There were years they got crushed, and that was just going to happen. But there were years they punched back. And during that era, really the only teams that were punching back from like 08 through 17 were LSU and Auburn. Nobody else was like Urban left. Then A&M couldn't do it. Manziel did once.
Yeah.
Mississippi State certainly not. Ole Miss.
Every
once in a while.
Yeah.
Arkansas, no shot. Tennessee lost every year. So Auburn and LSU were the only two that were really throwing punches. And look, Malzahn did a great job there at Auburn and got a chance to be head coach one more time at Central Florida and then called some plays at Florida State. And he's probably got enough cash to take it on to the house at this point. And I don't blame any college football coach for wanting to do that now.
Especially with this day and age. So on Friday, we talked about what Clint Kubiak picked between the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles. I said Los Angeles. They used to be in Los Angeles. Las Vegas Raiders. Well, it's come out that he's going to pick the Las Vegas Raiders. But, no deal can be finalized until after the Super Bowl. So is Kubiak making the right decision picking the Raiders? Take it or leave it.
Has anyone ever made the right decision picking the Raiders?
No.
Maybe John Madden.
Leave it alone.
I mean, not really. Nobody.
John Gruden got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got the first pick.
Mendoza?
You got Mendoza. You got a shiny new stadium. They got blackjack tables down the street.
Right. I mean, you got Genty and Bowers. I mean, does Max Crosby still want to play with them? I really don't know at this point.
I mean, it's you got some guys, but it's the Raiders. They're probably not going to be good. That's just the way that generally seems to work out.
Wouldn't hurt too bad to be a millionaire in Vegas. So look, shout out Clint Kubiak, Mr. Halfback toss. So, Hunt, it's officially the 1-year anniversary of the Luka Doncic trade.
Oh, okay.
So the entire
Groundhog
world,
Day.
Groundhog Day, the entire world stood still for a moment. Nico Harrison did not even see a full season after the trade, and Anthony Davis is currently hurt and on the trading block. So can we say this is the worst trade of probably all time?
Yes, take it. I have no problem with that. It's a star league, and you had a top 5 player in the league, and you traded him for a guy who never plays and is past his prime. So, not a great idea. I realize I heard the reasoning that he gave. It was just terrible reasoning.
Terrible reasoning.
Just terrible reasoning. So, yeah, that's not good. Are the Bucks about to trade Giannis?
I mean, look, I would hope so because, again, Pelicans are intertwined in that. Just do not send him to the Spurs, whatever. Just do not answer the Spurs calls and do not answer OKC calls. Answer anybody else calls. You just cannot let this man go to the Thunder or the Spurs. Simple as that. I don't care where he goes.
I mean, how does that even work if you were with one of those two teams? Well,
see, the thing about that, Hunt, those are the only 2 teams that actually have so much assets from years. OKC is basically the mafia of the NBA. They've done dirty deals with everybody, and they're just sitting on this stockpile of picks just waiting to hit the red button. This could be the red button. I hope not, though. Lord,
that would be hilarious.
It would be terrible. That would be worse than Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. It will be up there, yes. Even though he's not willingly going out his way, it's more of a trade still. Can't do it.
How old is Giannis?
30, about 30 or 31. So he still has a couple more years.
He's got some good hoops left in him.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's not LeBron, but he'll definitely.
I saw a LeBron post on Twitter this weekend where he was like coming off the left wing and he just exploded through the air and caught an alley-oop and splashed it. And somebody was like, man, watching LeBron's decline has really been sad. He's just soaring through the air.
But the crazy part is he's right. Like couple years back, his head's at the rim. Yeah. He's barely getting there now. So by the time it's looking like it's about to catch up with him. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Monday. We talked a lot of baseball in the second hour, talked a lot of football with a little hoops in the first hour. Missed any of the show today. As always, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. If you're just looking for LSU, Hunt on LSU. Just looking for Saints, Hunt on Saints. We got Well, let's talk about tomorrow. I'll continue on my LSU baseball position breakdowns, talk a little bit about LSU's infield tomorrow, and whatever else comes to mind with Glenn West and Sharif Ishak on this Tuesday. Hope everybody has a safe and wonderful Monday evening. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.